So we want to start on our back, and this is where we're going to always assess the level of separation that we have, okay? So when you think about, your abdomen, you've got your sternum up here, which is that bone that you can feel just sort of where your rib cage sits, and then you have your pubic bone, so where your pelvis sort of meets. And we want to really be assessing everything in between, so from your sternum to your pubic bone. So I don't want you to try and do anything. I want you to just run your fingers down the midline of your abdomen, where that ligament is, and just see, how does it feel? Does it feel springy? Does it feel soft? Does your skin feel quite loose? And this sort of just starts to give you a picture of, when you're at rest, what is your core strength actually like, and how is that ligament actually doing? So when you've done that, I want you to think about your breathing mechanics. What happens when you do have a abdominal separation is you can get what's called coning, and that's where you see sort of this push when you come up. It is really just signifying that the pressure of your breathing and your intra-abdominal pressure, which we've talked about, is not properly managed. So when you're actually assessing how your abdominal separation, the width of it, I want you to think about tucking your chin, and I want you to just do a little crunch. We're not coming all the way up, we just want enough so our shoulders are off of the ground. And then I want you to again start running your fingers down your midline of your abdomen, and I want you to notice where you should feel the two sides of your rectus abdominis, and you'll feel like a shelf. And that shelf signifies where each of those rectus abdominis starts. And if you find your navel, I want you to measure 3 fingers above your navel, and I want you to measure the distance 3 fingers above your navel and then 3 fingers below your navel. And how you're going to do that is you can place your hand, tracking straight down. So if we're thinking about pressing down like this, we're not going to really see how much the separation is or how wide it is. So when you come up, I want you to find 3 fingers. You want to point your fingers down like this, and then you can start with 1 finger, then 2, and then you'll naturally start to feel where those rectus abdominis are sitting. So if you've got 1 finger, that's 1 centimeter, another finger, 2 centimeters. And then I want you to repeat the same 3 centimeters below your navel. And we want to do the same. Now I am 3.5 months postpartum now, so I actually had a 3 centimeter abdominal separation. But when I'm feeling my separation now, I can feel that I can apply really good tension across that ligament. I can't press down into that ligament, which tells me that I've regained a lot of strength through it. And yes, it is closed, but remember that that's not the goal. The goal is that we want to make sure that we're able to distribute tension across that ligament. And once you've done that, I want you to come back down, and I want you to repeat the same thing, but I want you to draw up your pelvic floor this time. So taking a deep breath in and then coming up, I want you to draw up your pelvic floor, and then I want you to reassess. So 3 centimeters above your navel, 3 centimeters below your navel. And note, does it feel stronger? Do you feel that you're able to apply tension better when you've got that pelvic floor contraction? And when you find that, you need to take that into your training session, because when you think about, when we do a squat or we do a lunge or anything that we do in our training, we are basically going to need to create that tension across that ligament to make sure that we're safely performing our exercise.